Hey everyone, this is Katie, and this is the painting portion of the second lesson. And again, I have really simplified this lesson, and there are going to be 10 colors that I'm going to pre-mix. There are going to be 5 cool colors and 5 warm colors. Each of them are going to correspond to the value scale to the left of the palette. So from the lightest light to the darkest dark. I'm using the 3 primaries plus white. So for the yellow, I'm using cadmium yellow. For the red, alizarin crimson. And for the blue, ultramarine blue. So when you're looking at the color wheel, the cool colors are between green and purple. So blue, green, and purple. And the warm colors are going to be between red and yellow. So red, orange, and yellow. And I've thrown a couple little tricky things here in with colors themselves have their own value even before you add white or black to them. And yellow has a lighter value. So I'm using yellow here as my second value. So the yellow is going to be my warm number 2. For 5, I'm using a bluish green for my cool and a reddish purple for my warm. The green is going to be cool because it's leaning towards the blue side, and the purple is going to be warm because it's leaning towards the red side. Now for value number 4, my green here is going to be warm because it's leaning more towards, let's say, yellow for simplicity's sake. And the purple here is going to be cool because it's leaning more towards the blue. So this is, I'm sorry I did this and I didn't mean to do it, but I really didn't realize it until I had gotten into the painting that I had done this. But it just, for someone that's not real familiar with warm and cools and how they can, it will lean more towards warm when it's mixed with, say, yellow, and more towards cool when it's mixed with blue. Can determine whether that color is going to read warm or cool. And of course it's relative to the colors that they happen to be next to. But for this painting, and just to try to keep things simple, I'm not going to go into that right now, but here just know that in the value number 5, the green is cool and the purple is warm, and for value number 4, the green is warm and the purple is cool. And I hope you can see that. So I'm going to start off here with a very loose paint mixed with some turpentine or odorless mineral spirits with the cool number 5. And if you'd like to, you can refer to the downloadable that is also with this lesson, where I've pointed out what I believe to be the different values that I saw in the photo. And this is the warm value number 5. Again, I'm using very loose paint. just to darken the paper, give the paper some form. This is value number 5, the warm color. Again, very thin paint, just almost coloring the paper, letting the paper come through, but giving the paper some form with this thin wash of color. 5, cool. Again, just a wash over the paper. Getting into the ruffles a little bit of the shirt. And the underside of the collar. And then this is 5, warm. And this is a 5, warm, still keeping it loose. And again, 5, cool. And this is value number 1, warm, the forehead there. And what I've done in the top of the earlobe here is the cool value number 1. But what I've done is I've established the darkest dark and the lightest light. This way it just helps you to see the other values once you have established the light and dark value. And here this is 1, cool. And this earring is 1, cool. This is 1, warm. And over here this is 1, cool. And this is 5, cool. and this is 3 cool. This is a 3 warm. And this is 4 cool, so this is the bluish purple value, or the bluish purple color of the number 4 value. And then this is also the 4 cool. This is 4 warm. Oh, I'm sorry, this is 5 warm. So this would be the reddish side of that purple. The red making it the warmer purple. And up in here inside the ear is also 5 warm. See, and this upper lip is 4 warm, so that ends up being that green, which is the warmer one of that number 4 value. And this is 4 cool. And this is 4 warm. And now I'm just adding some 5 cool to this side of her neck and underneath the ear. And the creases of her lids are 4 cool. And this is 3 warm. And the left lid, I'm going to put 2 warm. And the whites of her eyes, I'm using 2 cool. And for the pupils, I'm going to use 5 cool. That is 4 cool. And here I'm using 1 warm. And this is too warm. And again, 3 cool. And this is 3 warm. And this is 3 cool. And this is too warm, that yellow. And this is cool, number 3 value. And 3 warm. And then this is 4 warm. That purple red. And this is 4 cool. And then this is 2 cool. And you can start to see how the cools and warms next to each other start to work. And I'm trying to pick the cools for the ones that I may see in shadow, and the warms where the light is hitting her face. And here I'm using one cool. This is too cool. And I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the side of her face with too cool, just to see where that leads me, and then I will go back into it later. Number 1, warm, and back to too cool. And on my brush now is 1, warm. And here on the lip it's 1, warm again. And here's the 2, warm. And here, just a little darker value, so I'm bringing in the 3, warm, but keeping it warm. And then 2, warm. And over here I'm making it cool again, so this is 4, cool. And I'm going to make this 1, cool. Maybe blend those 2 values together. And 2, cool across the bridge of the nose. And this is 2, warm. And here I'm going back in with 4, cool. And this is 2, warm. And a little touch of 2, cool. And 2, cool here along the edge of her jawline and side of her neck. And then this is 3 cool. And then 2 warm. And this is 1 warm. It's blending a little bit with the colors there, which is fine. And then this is 2 cool. Here I'm using 3 warm. And then 2 warm. And then 2 cool here at the lip. And then 2 warm. And then 1 warm. And here 2 cool on the inside of the eye. And then a touch of 1 warm. To define the cheek here. And a touch of 2 warm. And here I'm going to use a combination of 2 warm and 1 warm. Obviously I'm trying to get those 2 values a little closer together here at this seam, just to blend that portion of her forehead a little bit more. This is 2 cool. So here I've taken the liberty just to finish up the painting, just a few things that I've done. Gave the background some color. You can certainly use any value that you want that would suit your painting. The left side of her head, I've painted in some hair along the hairline. I've also painted in her earrings. And I also have defined the hair on the left side of her head a little bit more with some thin paint. So the video that follows, it's kind of like a second half of this painting where I've taken the painting further, blended the values more. I'm still using the same colors that were on my palette, but I I just happen to be making more value shifts with those same colors. It's just so that the painting can look less like a glorified paint by number. And it would be great if you would feel that you could take the painting a little further as well.